welcome to my channel. This is Carrie, and today we're going to do a fast little video on some resin pour. I have these beautiful little trays, wooden trays that actually got off of Temu, and they're very shallow, so we're not going to need a lot of resin for this, but I thought it'd be fun to test on some colors and see how they turn out. So I already went ahead and I measured how much fluid would go into these, and it's about 100 milliliters. And so I've already mixed up resin, 200 milliliters worth. I'm using today Let's resin. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, and I'll have a link for that. There's no VOCs, and that's what you really want to look for in working with resin, so you don't have any harmful chemicals that you're breathing in. If you feel like you need to, you can wear a respirator, but this really does not have a lot of smell to it. Also, we're going to be using some tints, and these are specially made for resin. I get all my inks through Artist Till Death, and I'll also have that in the description box. Also check out Erica at Artist Till Death, her videos on YouTube. She does a fabulous job teaching you all sorts of things on resin and a variety of other mediums. So today we're going to use Just Resin Ocean Green, and that's a lighter green. A Color Art Bling It color, and this is Chaladoni. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's a purple, and this is actually not a paste. It's like almost like a mica powder. It's a powder form that you will put in. I have Just Resin Emerald Green, so that's that rich green. Color Passion, we're going to use a Cell White paste, and then I added a little bit of the abalone from Color Art, abalone shell, to give it just a little bit of a sparkle. So we're going to do I believe some ring. I think I just want to do some pours onto this with a stack of colors. So I'm going to add my resin, and I've already, like I said, mixed this up, and each resin's a little bit different, so make sure you look at the time that you're supposed to spend in mixing those colors. So right now I want equal parts, so I'm just trying to pour this into these cups. And then we'll go ahead and mix all those up. I'm not saving any of the just clear on this one today because I know we're going to use it all up. Also, what I have on hand is a torch that will help pop any bubbles, so make sure you have one of those. Also have alcohol on the side with some paper towels in case I need those. All right, put this out of the way where it's not going to spill over. Okay, so the first up I have here is the white with the abalone, and I'm going to mix that up really well. The Cell White is not going to be translucent, but it will break up some of the other colors. I think probably the only one that I have translucent is going to be the purple, and it will have a lot of sparkle. So So there's that, but I think I'm gonna add a little bit more abalone shell to that. You gotta be careful with the powders. They will go all over the place. Really should try to wear some sort of mask, but you wouldn't be able to hear me. Okay. This one is the emerald green, and what you didn't see is I just put basically a little tip of this popsicle stick of the pigment in there. This isn't a huge pour, so don't want a huge amount of pigment, but you still want it to get saturated in there. And make sure that when you're mixing your resin and also mixing with your pigments that you're scraping the walls of your cup to make sure you're getting a good even pour. I guess I got a little happy there mixing that up. And that's why you have your handy alcohol soaked paper towels ready just in case. Here's that powder that was the Color Art Bling It. And you will see that this one is going to be our transparent color. We have to add a little bit more. And that was about how much I put in the first time. So add a little bit more. Now also, depending on what resin you use, that will also depend on the amount of work time you have with the resin. So in this case, Let's Resin is about 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes that I have working time with it. I think actually I'm gonna add just a touch more. Some resins are quick dry, like will set up within minutes, and I actually have one of those that I use for things that I'm going to do layers that I really want to set up fast so I can start my next layer. For things that you're going to use for food grade items like doing wine glasses or tumblers or even charcuterie plates that maybe not even touch where you've resined. You want to use one that is safe for that. I believe Let's Resin is. And another great resin is Stone Coat Resin, and you can also get that from, oh, my cups are already leaking. So I have to go fast. This was the green, the ocean green. So what I was saying is just make sure that if you're going to use that the resin you use does say that it's FDA approved food grade. And that doesn't mean that you can put your food on it. It just means that some touches of like your lips when you drink out of it, or minor touching of, you know, food onto it is going to be perfectly safe. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. Sorry, I need to grab another cup and get started. I want to do two different ways. I think I'm going to do one where I just layer it, and then one where I drizzle it in lines to see how that goes. So in this one, I'm going to start off with a green. That, followed by purple. This one I'm going to just drizzle in. Followed by the white. Drizzle. And the green. And then we'll just keep layering those. And don't worry about the drips because we'll fix that. And you notice that because I'm pouring this one in, I'm going to get to the top faster than the others. So we'll have more layers in this one than the other. Oops. Okay. This one's done. We're gonna have one more pass through. We'll be ready to go. Actually, these last little bits I'm just gonna pour on. And with this one, I'm gonna do a little bit something different because I'm gonna take my stick and just dip in there to see how that changes the colors. And you can already see that there's some blue popping up. Okay, so I'm gonna take my little rag here. I'm not really worried about the inside, but I'm gonna clean up my edges here. And we'll go ahead and get started. This one I'm just gonna do, I think, three little pours. And I actually have this on a nice little stand that makes sure that my items are very level, because all of these resin is self-leveling. So if you are working on an uneven space, it's going to level to that end. So just make sure you're working on a level space. Okay. There's that one. This one, do the same thing. Oh yeah, so mixing these colors created a bluish tint. Wow, really pretty. So just tilt this a little bit. See how much I put in the rings. It may not all match up. Just want to get it to the edge and then bring it back. Same with this. Bring it back. Clean up some of my mess here. And we'll make sure that our sides are good and clean. Move this because I do see some resin on the side. Make sure you clean that all up, because once it dries it will be difficult to remove. Okay, and then we're going to take a torch to this. Usually I would not torch it if I was working with a mold, but we are just working with wood surface, so it should be okay. But try to stay within the resin. And ran out of fuel, so I'll need to get some more fuel. But yeah, you'll want to torch the top of this just to make sure that it is air free or bubble free. And I hope you enjoyed that. I'll post a picture of it later when it all dries and it's all good. Okay, I'm back. In getting rid of some of these bubbles, I also decided to do a little bit of sprinkling of just plain alcohol, and this is 91% purple alcohol right on top. I'm just putting it in my hands and kind of flicking right at it. And as you can see, it disperses some of the colors, and I think it will give us an interesting look at the very end when it dries. The other thing I did on this one is I took one of the popsicle sticks and just created lines. It was just merging too much into one color, so I thought it would look interesting doing that. You want to be careful not to put too much alcohol in, because you can really disperse it too much. Like, this is a very big area, but these smaller areas. So we'll see how that dries. And at the end, I'll show you the dried version. Thanks.